Hi guys. Okay, taking the next step. Jamie Burley, Dave Canterbury, Jamie and I have been talking back and forth, him and Dave Canterbury working, and we're kind of all playing with this idea. You know, you probably, if you follow all of our channels, you figured that out. I brought the idea of a Y branch, and we're using a rubber band, but I want to go from rubber band to cordage. Now you could do this, of course, with natural cordage if you wanted to right quick, but I'm going to use straight old bank line. Take my bank line, I just tie a knot where I need, and then I pull another knot up right quick right beside it, and I cut between the knots, that way my stuff never unravels. Just like that. Alright, now I'm going to take my line and I'm going to find the center of it. And looking at this one is my teeter-totter. So what I'm going to do is I need a loop that will just go over that teeter-totter. Just. So I'm going to say about that much. Alright. I'm going to do an overhand knot. Real easy. Pull it out to there. So I've just got an overhand with a loop. I'm going to slide it back over my teeter-totter, but I want it loose. I want to be able to stick like my pinky through there. Okay? Now, I'm going to take my base stick, and Canterbury pointed out something that I didn't know, because I'm not that versed in this crap, was he didn't use this squared off. He uses a flat scoop out so that it transitions from a scoop to a round so you can adjust the sensitivity. So I'm going to do that on the side of this when I go to set it. But up here at the top, I'm going to take these two loops with that loop, and here at the top I'm going to produce a knot and tie it off. Real easy. Okay. That has produced my base stick with the pivot loop. It's nice and loose. Now I want this one to go down, so I'm going to put the loop through, and then I'm going to want to turn it like that. That way it wants to go down anyway. So like an extra, see the way it does, coming up, I want it to go this way. So I'm going to wind it up like 2 turns until it's snug. So now that's fully free to pivot. See? It acts kind of like a hinge. Now to keep this knot from sliding up and down my pivot, I'm going to figure out exactly where I want that pivot to be by lining it up on my stick like that. Let's say right about there. Now on the back side of the stick, I'm going to put a little notch on the bottom. Just a simple 7 notch. Something that cord can sit into, and therefore not want to slide downhill once it gets down there and gets under tension. It's easy with his master woodsman and that roll to that blade right there. Yopon's fairly hard, by the way. Okay, now I'm going to work that down and put it into the notch. Just like that. Now that's going to hang there. That's not going to slide forward or back when it gets under load. Okay? And I can turn around for the moment and use my old notch. But let's see how that's going to work. Alright, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to hit the base stick so it sticks in the dirt a little bit. Just like that. Figure out whatever edge has got that 90 degree on it. Just like that. Take my deadfall, sit there on it, just like that, making sure that my deadfall is not going to pivot anywhere. And ta-da! One piece of cordage with a loop and that. And it flips out of the way. See how that works? Okay, one piece of cordage, the Y stick, to a slot notch, just a touch, and it's going to flip. Now, something that I had mentioned yesterday that someone asked me to show, let me do that right quick. Okay, I'm going to take a real small little twig, and I'm going to do like this, and I'm going to coil its limbs back around till I've made like a little grill or net or something like that right over the top. I'll leave that little foliage in there, not much of it, just enough it kind of camouflages what it is. Like that. Now, trigger onto my trigger stick like this, taking care not to get into the notch that I've set up. Get back here behind it, pull it tight. Now I've got that trigger, my little thing that lashed to my trigger stick. Now when I set it up like this, I want this to be in the way. I want this to be over my bait. So if I'm putting it like this, get my trigger set up like I want. Like that. Now this is going to be over my bait. So when they come up and they've got to move out of the way, it gets them. Also, what if I don't want to use this without bait? What if I've got a run right here and I want to capture something going through here? What I'm going to do is set this thing up not to hold bait, but I want to set it up to trigger whenever my target animal goes through it. So I'm going to turn this where that's sideways to the set now. I'm going to put it in here just like this. Make sure it sets. Whew, that's sensitive. Just like that. Now, let us say that this through here is a little game trail. I blocked this off on this side, and I want the animal to walk underneath this deadfall, so that when he's coming from this side, which is the side I expect him to come from, he's almost completely under it when he bumps this. And when he does, bang, it drops upon his back. So now instead of having any bait, when he's cutting underneath, it drops on him. I can block this off to put it over a run to catch small game like squirrels, very small rabbits, stuff like that underneath my deadfall. So that as he steps underneath and triggers it, it drops on it. And so, as I said, all this is a Y branch. If I'm going to be using bait, I could put this where the bait is in the middle of it, so he has to push this out of the way, throwing the trigger. I can also not have that there and just have a conventional with my bait on the end of the trigger stick. One little piece of cordage up here, and this could be natural cordage forming just simply a loop to hold it, and then the Y branch locking in the notch. That slot cut out, like Canterbury talked about, where it makes a transition from a flat to a round, makes it very, very sensitive, so any downward motion and it's going to take off. You've got to be at the top of the notch for that to lock in place. Of course, like I said, this was just for a demonstration and trying out an idea, and these dimensions would change depending. But adding this, if I want it to be where I want my animal to be walking underneath the deadfall and have to move this, it looking like that won't attract a lot of attention. That'll be just something to touch, right? And if I put it at the back of the deadfall so that my target animal is completely underneath it, when he hits it, his nose is just getting it, it'll drop on the chest and body and pin him down. Hopefully this will give you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And as always, I'm Blackie for Shaman's Forge Woodscraft. Wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.